In the last lesson, we saw how to create a view. And a view just gives us a way to display data from our Django app. What we need to do, though, is create a view that is a little more sophisticated that will display our data in a little bit better format. And to do that, we need to create a template. A template allows us to separate Django code from HTML from our Django app so that we can have a little more flexible environment to work in. So the first thing we need to do is create a subdirectory for our templates, and that can be anywhere you want it to be. I'm just going to put one off the root and call it templates. Then in that subdirectory, I also need to make another subdirectory for our project, and we're going to call that films. So now we have a place to store the template for our project. Before we actually create the template, we need to do one more configuration task. So move over to your project My Site directory, and then open up the settings.py file. There it is right there. Scroll down till you find a setting for template DIRs, or template directories. And what we're going to do is we're going to create ours right here, C:templates. And that's just kind of like a home directory for our templates. So save that. And now we're ready to create the template. Navigate to your templates films directory, or you can also, of course, just do that from your text editor. Now let's go ahead and type in the code first. So a template consists of some macro-looking code. Let me get a little head start here on the typing, and then I'll explain what I'm doing. Remember that we store the list of films from films objects all in an object called film list. So our template is going to say if this list exists, if film list, then what we want to do is we want to create a unordered list that consists of, and here we have more template code. You will notice we are mixing template with Python code and HTML. So now we're saying for film and film list. We want that to be a list element, and we want each list element to consist of the title of the film, and notice we're putting that in pairs of curly braces, a comma space, film.year, two closing curly braces, comma space, film.director, two closing curly braces, and a closed list item tag. More template code, end for, that's our for loop, which we end. Close the unordered list. And then we might have a little error checking code here. If the film list object doesn't exist, then we can write a message to the user, no films are available. We put that inside a paragraph, %endIf, %close curly brace, and that's our template. So we'll do a file save as. Navigate to the templates films directory. And we're going to call that, it's an all file, and we're going to call that index.html. Click save, and we're finished, so we can exit. Now go back to your project directory, start your text editor, open the views. Oh, we're still in. All right, see, I navigate by command line, then realize I can't do that when I'm working with Notepad and Windows. So we'll go project, My Site, films. Here's our views file. Double click that. Now we're going to write a new view. And then to work with our template, we need a couple of libraries from the Django template library. Context and loader are the two objects that we need. So actually, we'll leave that there. We're going to modify it. So the first thing we do is we tell the view where the template is. like so. Then we have to create something called a context. And the context is simply going to identify our template, which is the context in which our data will be written, followed by our film list object, and then film list object again, close curly brace, close parentheses. Then right here, rather than return the film list, we're going to have the template object, T, render our data using the context, like so. So that should be all we need. So we're going to save the file. Let's go ahead and exit it out. Let's bring up a browser and we'll see if it works. We have it here from before. And as usual, I forgot to start the server. Okay, now bring our browser back up. Refresh, make sure we have our URL right. We do. Refresh. We have a syntax error. Let's fix that. Bring Notepad open. Left out the word import. And again, I like to leave my errors in because you'll make these same kind of mistakes. So you see how I fix it. Exit and save. Start the server again. Server's running. Bring our browser back up. Refresh. And there's our films. One thing we might do is modify our template so that we have a little heading. So let's go back. Stop the server. Get to our templates films directory. All files. Open her up. And we'll create an H1. Nice little heading. Let's just call it film listing. That should be all we need. Save and exit. Back to the directory. Start the server. Bring up the browser. Refresh. There we go. So now you see how to use Django to display data through the web from the database into a browser. So then the next step and the last step to have a complete application then is to create a form that allows us to add movies to our listing. And we're going to see how to do that in the next lesson.